How's it going, guys? Welcome back to episode 4 of the Player's Perspective podcast. Unfortunately, I am not joined with my friends Derek and Brett again, but that's okay. They had other plans that they had to attend to, but it's all good. We'll roll on. So, I just want to start off with that game, the end of the game. That was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe, like, I really can't believe that happened. And the thing was, the Ducks didn't even play that bad. In my opinion, at least. I didn't think they played that bad. They didn't play good by any means, but they did not play as bad as they seemed like they were playing. Maybe that was because they're playing the Flyers, who also have kind of struggled of late. But yeah, I didn't think they played that bad. First period, they had a really good start, and then period started to go along, started to get a little even. Even though they did get up 1-0 on the power play, the Flyers early. Um, I didn't really think too much of it. It was a power play goal. Nice pass by Giroux, high tip to Couturier, just a good goal. And the penalty was kind of soft. He did get his Pedersen did get his stick parallel, but I did think it was kind of soft. Um, but yeah, and then they were talking about how they did not have a very good power play. The power play's been struggling, and of course, what happens? They score on the power play. But I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's the fucking. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Um, it was the beginning of the game, and I was like, all right, still a lot of hockey to play, no biggie. And then yeah, the game kind of, even though that was kind of a momentum killer, but I thought the game was like, all right. Then second period, I thought the Ducks. I didn't think they played very well in the second period. Um, there's a lot of just once again standing around, not working hard. Um, yeah, and they gave up. Actually, I can't remember. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I can't even figure out what happened in the second period. I just know they did not play good. And then the third period, they went at the end of the second period. They drew a penalty, so they got a power play to start off the third period. Fresh ice, and I even said before they went to intermission, I was like, all right, you know what? They don't have to score, but as long they have a really good power play right here when they get out of intermission. And to start off the third period, they did have a great power play. They moved the puck well. They were retrieving pucks. They were getting shots, and they didn't score, which was fine. Um, but yeah, and then after that though, they kept going. They had some momentum. They kept going. Pontus Aberg, second goal of the game, fourth goal in 2 games. He ends up scoring in the final minute. And then I don't even know. I'm pretty sure it was less than 30 seconds later. I don't know what the Ducks were doing. They completely just leave Nolan Patrick, second overall pick, wide open in the slot. Something you can't do to a guy that was drafted second overall. And of course, he buried it. And I mean, I don't want to put any blame on anyone, but it definitely looked like Jacob Larson. Looked like it was his man. He was covering the guy down low, which I think was Voracek, and then he put it like behind the net for Giroux, and Hampus did his job, went to go cover Giroux, but Larson, he instead of going directly to the front of the net, he stayed like on the goal line and was protecting Voracek, which, you know, he's not going to do anything from down there. Voracek was below the goal line. He's not going to score from there. You gotta be watching the guy that's directly in front of your net. And then maybe a little bit of the blame could go to Kessler, because maybe that should have been Kessler's guy too, supporting him in front. But still, Larson, I think that was his guy. Larson and Walensky, though, I watched some of the game on Sunday against the Sharks, so I didn't really get to see, and it was a third period mostly, so they didn't hit the ice much, so I wasn't really seeing them how they played, but today they there was some stuff I saw where I was like, I don't know. Still not NHL ready. You know, a little bit slow, not strong enough. Which Larson is supposed to be, you know, one of the Ducks' top D prospects, and he still hasn't panned out. So I don't know what's going on there, but he's been with the goals for a while now, and yeah, especially, and I know, and he's played a couple NHL games even last year, and you know, still just not fast enough, not strong enough. It was a shame. Yeah, it was a shame to see Manson not be in the lineup tonight, because a lot of the game tonight there was, especially in the defensive zone. They were losing battles in the front. Like, usually when I talk, during the podcast, I talk about the Ducks not losing battles, on the boards, in the defensive zone, losing foot races, those type of puck battles. But today it was more, they were losing battles right in front of the net. And, a guy like Manson, big, strong boy, be, clearing guys out. Obviously, that's only one defenseman, but, it makes a difference, especially when he plays a lot of minutes. Also, I was very upset to see, as Brett and Derek also were, to see Kiefer Sherwood get reassigned to San Diego. He's one of our favorite players. So far, he's impressed. Camp, rookie camp, and training camp. Played good in the preseason. Played good in the regular season so far. I think he played. I forgot how many. I saw an article. I forgot how many games. Oh, okay, this guy quit. Forgot how many games he played, but he had 2 goals, and I forgot how many assists, but he was a +5. So think about that. He was a +5 when the Ducks have been struggling. So even Manson, who is always leading in plus minus, even Sherwood has a higher plus minus than him. So obviously he doesn't play as much as Manson, but still, in a +5, it's really good. Because it seemed to me, whenever the Ducks, not playing very good, I would always see Sherwood, moving his feet, getting in on the forecheck, creating space for his teammates, trying to create that energy so the Ducks could get back in it. But unfortunately, he got sent down, and it wasn't because he wasn't playing very well. It was because they had to send somebody down, because Manson is listed as day-to-day. Pedersen came in to play for Manson. He got reassigned the other day to the goals, and then had to come back up today to play. And they needed somebody to go down who didn't have to go through waivers, so that another team could pick him up. So unfortunately, Sherwood had to be that guy. But it's all right. He'll be back. I'm sure he'll be back. But yeah, the Ducks today. Oh, and then let's talk about on the offensive side. I thought the Ducks did pretty well. They had a a fair amount of shots, it was more shots than they usually have in the games. They had about 25 shots to the Flyers 36, which, I mean, it's not bad, 25 shots, but a lot of the shots, they had some good quality chances, but today, like just like on the defensive side, they were losing battles in front of the net. So Getzlaff, Fowler, Lindholm, some of you, anybody, whoever, will put it towards the net for like a pretty good shot for a rebound, but there would be no one in front of the net. So Elliott, who is not that great of a goalie, he's good, and he's not elite or anything. He gives up a lot of rebounds, and especially Ducks fans, you know that from how shaky he was in the Calgary Anaheim series, 2016 playoffs. Very shaky. But yeah, he was giving up a lot of rebounds, and there were Ducks that were nowhere to be found. And I don't know if that is because a little bit because the Flyers defenders were good at boxing out, which the Ducks weren't good at doing in their defensive zone. But also there was guys, I don't know if you can't be afraid to go to the net, get in front of which that was another thing I feel like Sherwood really brings to the table. And speaking of guys that really bring that to the table, who I think the Ducks, it would have benefited the Ducks, Nick Ritchie, he would have been great in this game because he would have had his butt parked right in front of the net, and I'm sure he would have. I think he would have scored a goal today, just based on if he was in front of the net and with the rebounds Elliott was giving up. Definitely think he would have scored. And another guy who obviously isn't coming back for a long time, my favorite player, Corey Perry. He probably would have scored a goal today. Because honestly, a lot of the Ducks' chances were like outside shots. They did have some good inside shots, but they could have had way more chances, but they didn't have guys in front of the net. So that was a problem. I even saw a tweet saying, who knew we would miss Corey Perry? Yeah, you should be missing him. He's third most on the team, has third most points on the team every year, basically. I don't know why. Oh, he's slow. Okay. How's that working for us right now? How's that going? How's the slowness going? Apparently it's not matter. It doesn't matter anyways. Because the Ducks are still losing. Today, what I thought the Ducks, it seemed like they did a little bit better, was breaking out of the zone. They were moving the puck a little bit better. So, on the breakout, which you bring up systems all you want, but I guess the one thing that even I thought maybe he should have changed is so since the season started, the Ducks want to play with speed, right? Everybody's complaining, oh, you got to play with speed, and then Brian Murray, Randy Carlyle, okay, they agree, we got to play with speed. So obviously, playing with speed, it doesn't mean you have to be fast. It means you have to move the puck fast. You got to move the puck quick. And that is which, is true. And also, if you didn't know, that was a direct quote from Ryan Getzlaff. Playing fast doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the fastest skater you just got to move the puck quicker. Which even then the Ducks still aren't really doing, but they had a little bit of it today. But yeah, since the start of the season, they want to play with speed. So they've been having the wingers, like once the Ducks get it, which is why the Ducks are kind of having problems, or have been having problems in their defensive zone, because they have, like, right away, when the Ducks, or when they think the Ducks are going to get the puck, the wingers start flying up the ice, right? Because they want to have speed. They want to enter the, or even if they don't have the puck, or if they're not going to get the puck, that causes the defensemen to go with the wingers, which spreads the ice out, which gives more room for the center or the two defensemen to, skate it up. But that isn't really working because, if the Ducks do turn it over or something happens, then you don't have everybody back, and then that goes into the same thing with the losing battles, like that stuff. But today, it seemed like the wingers were actually a little bit lower. Oh, come on. The wingers were lower, so that was helping out a little bit. But you still, even though the wingers are lower, you still need the center to come in, get open, support you for, just simple breakout stuff. Which I don't know if any of you guys know, or that's just simple breakout stuff. And then also, it seemed like on their regroups, which I noticed in the beginning of the game, when they did their first regroup, basically, I noticed that it was much quicker. There was something different about it. And then later on, Brian Hayward, I don't know if Brian Hayward or John Allers even brought up that in practice they worked on regroups. So, there you go. Working on regroups, coming in the zone with speed. Which it was obvious they worked on it because I saw some pretty good regroups. And then dang it. But yeah, still just I don't even know what to say about the Ducks, They're just not. I honestly don't know. And I'm not one to say we should fire the coach. Do I think he deserves to be fired? No. Do I think he should be fired? No. But I mean, if something's got to change, I guess that's what you start with. Fire the GM? No. That's no. Coach? Maybe. But, which I actually just saw in a tweet right before I started this podcast, was just because you fire the coach, that doesn't mean that everything's going to go back to being perfect or it's going to fix everything. What if you fire the coach and then it's still the same thing? Then what? Then you really will show that it's on the players that are not playing good and performing. So the Ducks just have defensive lapses where they just stop working hard, and I don't understand why. So, right, for majority of the game, they were basically for the whole game, they were down by 1 goal. And then I'm just bringing this up specifically because I saw it, and then they scored with however much time left, minute something. And then like I said, they stopped skating and was standing around. They let up that goal like 30 seconds after they scored because they were just standing around doing nothing. And then on top of that, after they were down 3-2 with like a minute and a half left, right? And what were they doing in the zone? Standing around, not moving their feet. I saw Getzlaf turn the puck over to Simmons right in the freaking slot, and Miller was able to save it. Raquel was bringing it up the boards. He tried to hook it over to the middle. He turned it over. I think Lindholm and Fowler out there, one of them also turned it over. So they were just standing there. I don't know what they were for sure on Getzlaf's turnover. I saw him with his back on the boards with the puck on the wall, and he just was looking for someone to pass. You passed it right in the middle, right, literally onto Simmons' stick. And then by the time they finally got out of the zone, which wasn't even, they didn't even get in the zone yet, they were able to pull Miller. It was only 45 seconds left. So what are you going to do with 45 seconds? And they didn't even get in the zone until maybe, 30 seconds left? Then it came out and didn't even get set up. That was like in the, I think it was in the Buffalo game. They pulled the goalie. Pulled Miller. Same thing. Pulled Miller. And they couldn't even get out of the zone. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Why? You scored. You finally, tied it up. You got your momentum. And then you stop playing? Like, what did you think was going to happen? Yeah, and then... So, yeah, then also I want to go back to the Vegas game against the Golden Knights in Vegas. I was there, and as you know, the Ducks were losing. And Ben Street scored to pull it within. I think it was 3-1. Ben Street scored in the beginning of the third period to make it 3-2. No, sorry. They were losing 2-0. Ben Street scored to make it 3-1 in the very beginning of the third period. And then I'm mixing myself up. It was 2-1 after Ben Street scored. And then what happened? The Ducks stopped skating. I don't know why. They stopped skating. They started playing shitty again after they showed signs of life. Because after that goal, they played good for maybe about 2-3 minutes. And then they went back to, not playing good. And then they ended up losing that game. Because, you can't just play a one-period game and expect to win. So, which, back in the day, how many years ago was that? I forgot what year was that? The 2015 Ducks? Maybe, I think. I think that was the Ducks that they would have. They were the comeback kids. In the second period, they would always play terrible, and they would play really good in the third and somehow win. And then the games that they did do that in, but they still ended up losing, it was blamed on them because why didn't they play like that the whole game, the third period? They would come up a little bit short, and it's like, if you worked hard all game, that wouldn't have happened, Instead, now it's like they play okay the first period, then they don't play very good the second period, then they start to play good in the third period, and then they go back to playing bad again. So I really don't know what it is. Because, like I said, today they did not play, like, they didn't look as terrible as they have been. And they still end up losing because of, that's all it takes. One shot, one defensive lapse, one shift of not working hard, and that's all it takes, as you can see on that goal. Should they have won that game? Maybe. Should they have lost that game? Maybe. Do they deserve to lose the way that they did? No, absolutely not. But that's what happens when you be content. Oh, we tied it. We take them to overtime. You got to work hard. All 60 minutes, 65 minutes, however long it takes to win a game. And it's evident why the Ducks have lost 6 straight games. Who would have thought? 6 straight games. Maybe before the season, everyone was counting out the Ducks, right? And I was like, nah, they're good. I believe in them. And then they proved first 7 games of the season. Went 5-1-1. Proved all the haters wrong, like they always do. proved them wrong, showed them that, they can still hang. They have a new system, they can still play. And then all of a sudden, now they have lost 6 in a row. They're 5-6-2 now, I think. They had one of the best. The last time they had, I think I even said on the podcast, the first episode, or no, sorry, not the first episode, the second episode, that the last time they played this, they had that kind of start. We know what happened. They won the Stanley Cup, and then now it's not looking too good. Obviously, there's a lot of hockey to play, but you can't keep doing this every night. And once again, like I said, they didn't play as bad, but still, there's a couple times where they give up super quality chances, and Miller stood on his head, made some really good saves. So I don't know what's going on, but the Ducks have to. I mean, if they think, to me, I think so. They've lost 6 in a row, which is already annoying. But I think if they get to 10, maybe that's too much. 8 to 10, somewhere around there. If they lose that many in a row, then maybe it is time to fire Randy Carlyle. Even like I said, do I think he should be fired? No. Does he deserve to be fired? No. But you got to change something. And you're not just gonna start trading people away. You gotta do something, and that's what you start with. Oh my gosh, that was lame. I think it's more. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Ducks are really just giving up on Randy Carlyle, which is, I don't like that, because I don't want to see my team giving up, because that's ridiculous. But and I don't like to use the excuse of the injuries, but maybe that's what it is. You never know. And we won't know until we have a full lineup. I don't like to use that excuse, but Richie came back game against Chicago, had a good game. They lost, obviously, but still had a good game. Then he went down, and then like I said, Manson's down. Richie, Perry, Eves, Kasha, Silverberg was injured for a little bit. Comtois, like how many of those guys are in the regular lineup? That's what, 6 guys. 6 out of 20 guys. Perry, Eves. Well, I mean, Eves didn't. I'm talking about Perry, Eves. I'll count it right now. The intermission. All right, Perry, Eves, Manson, Comtois, Kasha, Richie. Yeah, 6. Oh, and then I guess, well, not all at one time, but Silverberg was injured for a little bit, so 7. But like, come on, those are all like regular lineup guys. Like a quarter of your team is injured. Like, what do you? And I don't like. Another thing I don't like to do is blame the rookies, because like not their fault, right? It's like, what are you supposed to do? They're rookies, you can't expect them to be doing stuff every night, or doing stuff in place of guys like that are veterans. So Comtois, great start, and then he started to kind of dip off a little bit, but he's still playing all right, and then he got injured. And then Kasha looked like he was gonna have a great season, looked great in the preseason, gets a concussion. Perry, he from what I saw, I went to training camp. He looked like he was a little bit faster. Looked like he had a little bit more jump in his step. He was working hard. I can just see on his face he's determined, and he gets injured. Manson, who actually, I want to be honest, is not. I don't think he's played that well this season. None of the D have, actually, for being real here. Like I said, I'm not blaming the D, but I'm not saying that it's their fault, because it's not. It's everybody. It's a team game, but maybe Lindholm is the only one that's, Manson, I expect him to be way better. He just hasn't been playing that good. And then, yeah, so for the rookies, Steele looked like he's pretty. There's just some guys that it seemed like they were doing good in the beginning. That's why they went 1-5-1, and then maybe they got a taste of reality a little bit, and now they're honestly they're not invisible, but I don't notice him as much. And also which could contribute to Silverberg being injured and Comtois being injured. Henrique had a great start to the season. Him, Silverberg, and Comtois were on fire. That was their best line. Better than Getzlaff, better than Raquel. And then when Silverberg got injured against the Blues, that's when, Henrique kind of fell off, but he still had Comtois with him. And then Comtois is gone, and now Silverberg's back, and still Henrique, maybe he needs both of them, but like I said, maybe it was just they got a reality check, the rookies. Lundestrom, who is going to be a phenomenal player, he still hasn't gotten his first NHL goal, but he's getting close. He's getting very close. Even today, there was one time where I thought he was going to score. He's very good at bringing the puck in. But there are times where he brings the puck in. He has good puck protection, good speed, moves his feet, great stride, powerful. And then he kind of just circles around the zone, which, it looks good, but it's like, and then he kind of just passes it off, and either his teammate does nothing with it, or he loses it. It's like, that was kind of a waste, Either he needs to do something quicker, or somebody needs to get open for him to pass to them. Because I feel like when I see him do that, I know for a fact he did that in the Swedish Elite League, and it worked. Like, that's why he still continues to do it. And it still does work, but obviously NHL, a little bit faster, a little bit quicker. You got to make decisions a little bit quicker and faster, so. Oh. Yeah, back when I used to play, me and Brett were on the same team. We had a kid that would do that. He would bring it all the way down super fast, and then he'd go behind the net. He'd have good control, everything, and he just kept skating. It was like, okay, make a play. It's good that you brought it in with speed and did, but it's kind of like, and then he, it was when we were younger, so, but like when we were 14, he wasted all of his energy doing that. Then he was tired. If he did turn the puck over, or if something happened, he was too tired to do anything. He just wasted all his energy skating all the way up the ice and going in a circle around the zone. But yeah, the Ducks got the Rangers on Thursday, which me and Brett will be at the game for that. And the Rangers as well have, struggled a little bit, so maybe the Ducks can pull out a win. The Sharks are currently playing the Rangers right now. How is that going? I forgot if it was 1-1 or 3-3 when I looked at it. I don't remember. Ooh, see, the Rangers won. It was 1-1. Actually, it was 3-3 when I left. The Rangers ended up winning in a shootout. So, ouch, Hampus, big hit. Yeah, the Rangers won in a shootout. So, we'll see how the Ducks match up against them, because that right there makes the Rangers. What are they? 4-7. So that's not very good either. So two teams, just like today, Flyers. Two teams that were struggling, not playing very well, and the the Ducks. Oh wait, the Kings played them on Sunday, and the Kings won with Alec Martinez scored with 55 seconds left to win the game for them. Finally, they're 3-7 now. I think they were 2-7. I think they're 3-7 now. And then they beat the Sharks. So then we'll see how they do, how they match up against the Ducks. Oh, bad pass. But I'm glad to be going to my first game this season. Maybe I'll bring him. Me and Brett will bring him some luck. Maybe we have the Wild Wing jumping out of the ice jerseys that day, and Brett is very excited to buy one. He knows that I am not a very big fan of that jersey, and he's gonna rub it in my face all game. But you know what? It's okay. As long as the Ducks win, I don't care. I don't care what they wear in warm-ups, as long as they win the game. Oh, I have a chance here. Oh. Yeah, this is a little bit of a shorter podcast today. Don't have that much to talk about just because I'm, very frustrated with how the Ducks are playing, and I've described all of the past couple podcasts, just all the things I need to do, and it's just still just not working out. So, oh no, that's a loose. Yeah, I brought it up in the past two podcasts, basically the solo ones I did by myself, and yeah, they just need you know what they need to do? They need to take a hard look in the mirror and look at themselves. And I know that might be a cliche, but they really gotta look at themselves in the mirror and step up, because we all know what kind of team they could be. They showed it in the start of the season what kind of team they could be. So, Thursday, obviously, me and Brett will be at the game. So, unfortunately, we will not have a podcast up. But the Ducks play on Sunday, which is November 4th, and hopefully we can come at you with the podcast after that game against the Blue Jackets at home. So, yeah, that's all I got to say for this episode. A little short solo one. Hopefully they'll join me on Sunday for the next podcast, episode 5. And watching, once again, if you have any questions, if you want to ask us anything, tweet us. Use Twitter, our ats. I'm sure you know our ats if you're listening to this. But yeah, we're here to answer questions, and we're looking forward to the Ducks hopefully winning some games pretty soon. So, yep, thank you for watching.